Hey there, today we are using PowerShell to pick some lottery numbers. Hey everybody, this is Tom with Tom's Tech Show, and I found my Millennium Falcon here, and it's sitting here. I don't really want to touch it; it's going to probably fall off the thing. But that was a popcorn bucket at Disneyland. Probably had them here at Florida Disney World. Several years ago. I just found it and like, hey, we'll hang this up, have some little fun in the background. But today, every once in a while, I get up, the lottery gets really high, and you're like, let's throw our $3 in and just, give it a whirl. So never win anything. So I thought to myself, let's take all of this and generate that into some code, right? They give you the numbers to download. First things first, if you have a problem gambling, if you have a problem, you can't stay away from it. You can't anything else, which also includes lottery. The National Council of Problem Gaming is there. They have a little page here that shows you can pick whatever your state is, and it'll lead you to where you need to get assistance for that before I had an aunt who was she was like agoraphobic, anorexic, afraid to go out of the house, afraid to get out of her truck, gambling, drinking, smoking. I don't know if there was something that I don't think she did like regular drugs or anything, but there's problems in everybody's family. I mean, if you've got that problem, then please get some help. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, you can go to the lottery website. We're here in Florida, so we're at the Florida lottery site, and in the Mega Millions thing, you can come over here, and they'll let you download the HTML file of the winning numbers, which kind of it gets you this list, which is okay, but it's not really. How am I going to consume this? What am I going to do to get all these numbers, to count the numbers and get them into a format that is usable, that I can do some picks and selections and things like that. How do I get there? Well, that's where, of course, PowerShell comes in. But if I look at the actual file, I mean, it's got some images here in the top, stuff here in the top, some other style sheet things, and then finally we get down into here we're getting in numbers. So I had to determine in the page, like this may not always be, this first number may not always be line 98. I don't know that. So these may not be the same as time goes forward. So I have to be able to try and select something. And I found that this little dash right here with the font and Helvetica thing was a pretty good thing to select on. There is nothing above it. That dash is only in the document where the number sets are. So I'm like, okay, well, I can pick on that, and we can search the text and go upwards and downwards from that. So now we're going to jump into the PowerShell code. Now this is where things get a little bit crazy. Hopefully I can remember what I was doing. Okay, so I'm going to do some maintenance here. I'm going to write to the console here saying, we're gonna load the file. So here we do lotto file get content, and that's the one lotto file. Now every single time, there's every few lottos, you can download the new file, put it in the folder, and run the program again and get the next new set of most and least used numbers. So here's what I'm checking for. So this was that one piece in the code where I said there was that dash. And I added some extra text around it just to make sure that I get that dash and that space in that area. And then I need a number list array to tag off of and a mega list array. So I've got those two things so that as I hit and find the numbers, I'm going to increment that 0 up every time I hit it to start doing the counting. Okay. So now we're going to write that we're processing the file. Okay, so now we're going to loop, right? We're going to do a regular for loop here. So we're going to for I equals to the count of the lotto file, however many records I read in. I'm going to go through the entire file top to bottom, and we're going to just process each line. So here when I start, So if I notice in the HTML file here, this line, this first dash line, is 2 lines below where the number is. So I've got to stop from there once I find that line is there, right? So I found that line. Okay, did I find my start? Boom, I found my start. Okay, I'm going to put a dot that says I found something, and then I'm going to do I equals I minus 2. So I'm going to back up. So I found my line, and I'm going to back up 2 lines, and then I'm going to loop through and pull out the numbers. So then I'm going to do another loop for z equals z less than 6, z increment z. So now we've hit our start where we're going to start. Then we go back up 2, and then we're going to start reading the numbers. So I'm going to look for, now we have to look for something else on that line, which is the slash font. So if I look at that line, so looking just at that line, or this line right here, so out here in the end, there's this slash font that is right after the number. So that gets me the ending index of the number in the line. So we're doing a lot of text manipulation, a lot of text checking in here. So we're going to do, this index here, so lotto file I, so that line I in the text, do an index of font -2, so that's going to get me back 2, so that should get me the beginning start of the number, unless that number is a single digit number, then I've gone 1 too far. Then if that string, the beginning of that string is the little bracket here, so if it's like this one, like, if I go from this spot and I go back 2, that puts me here where this little bracket is, which means I need to get rid of the bracket. Okay, which I do here. So if the substring that I just pulled for my number is the little bracket, then I want to chew it off. Then I'm going to do substring start at 1. The strings start at 0, so if I start at 1, that's the second character and 1 number, so I just now strip the little bracket off and put that into number, and then I have my array that I set up at the top. I tell it this number in the array increment 1 because we found that number. Okay, now that we've found the number, now I want to jump down 4 spots. So here in my file, I'm here on this line. Now I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now down 4 lines to that gets me a line with another number. So once I get there, then I do the process again of pulling the number, looking for, the font, pull the number. If it's less than 10, then it's going to be strip out the little bracket and then add it to my number list and continue on for the 5 numbers that I need there. Now, the next thing that we do, the next number that is coming up is the Megaplier, the whatever it is. What it is, they call it Megaplier. I don't even know these things. I got this ticket. I got my thing filled out and I went and got my ticket, just to see what's going to happen with my mathematical. I'll win nothing. So, but it's a good adventure in trying to find this stuff. Okay, so we do the kind of the same exact thing to get the Megaplier. We look for the font. We go back 6 because that Megaplier number is in a little bit different place. So there's Megaplier. So they put a bold in here on the either side of the Megaplier. So instead of going back 2 to get to the number, I had to go back 6 to get to the beginning of the number, and then still having to check for the little bracket there. So we do that. Okay. And that is it. I mean, that's basically then once we get done with that section, so that takes, the first one will be, let's go up to the top. So it'll hit this one, get that done, chewed up, and then it will go to the next one, which is this one over here in the HTML file. It'll find the first bracket, go back 2, run through the numbers, jump down 4, get the Megaplier and then move on to the next. So it's going to cycle through all of those numbers in this page all the way down to the bottom. Now, the next thing I needed to do, of course, is, okay, I've got all the numbers and how many times they're used. So what do I do? So I create an object called data table, and that data table has values called ball and count. So then I cycle through all of those things and put them into this basically a data array that I can easily sort, right? And I do that for both of the numbers and the Megaplier numbers. So we create an object, we give it two values. We're going to have ball, two columns, ball and count. So then we come down here and we're going to loop all the way through these numbers, I equals 0 to 70. So that's going to be 0 to less than 70. So that's going to be our 70 numbers. And we're going to create a new row. The ball is going to be the I number, which is what the ball number came up as. And then the count is going to be what in that array up here in the top, when I was setting these, adding them up higher, that's going to be that number. So this will give me a list of the balls that were drawn and the count of that were drawn. And then we just add that to our object, which is just a bunch, it's like a data table in a spreadsheet kind of thing, so that you can do that. Now, to make things easier, if we want to look at things, numbers and stuff later, we can dump that easily out to a spreadsheet, go a couple clicks, lead it into, Google Sheets or whatever you want to do. And then we repeat this process for the Megaplier number. So we create one that has ball and count columns. We add all of those ball numbers, count numbers in there, and then we export that. So that gets us the data exported, that gets us the data into an array, and then I'm going to do some things at the end, which is I'm going to pick some numbers. Because that's the whole point of this thing, is to be able to pick some numbers, to use some numbers to put on, your sheet, so that you can go, to the store and give them a couple of bucks and have some fun. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the number list that we just generated, this list of things, we're going to sort by count. So this is going to get me the lowest number first, highest number last, and then I'm going to select the last 5. So the last highest 5 numbers. Those will be the numbers that were most selected by the lottery. Okay, then I'm just going to write them out in a list so that I can view them, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the Megaplier number. I'm just going to sort that on count and output what that ball number was, and then we're going to do the least pick number. So it's kind of like an oddity of, do the most picked numbers, well, are those going to be continually picked more? Is there some leaning somehow with the paint on the ball and how it comes out of the machine or whatever that allows these balls to suddenly be picked more than other balls? And just based on averages, the least picked balls would probably, you would think, in average over time, the least picked balls would have the biggest chance of being picked next, because, well, if you want everything over time should average out to all the balls being picked the same. It doesn't happen, but if that's true, then the least picked balls would have a higher chance of being picked next. Okay, so we do that, write that out to a file. Okay, so now I've got my file here. I've got everything ready to go. And I'm just going to do lottery calc is the name of my script. And we're just going to run it. It's going to say loading file, processing file. It's going to put out some dots so I know that it is doing something. And then when we get down to the end, it should drop out. These are our numbers that we should use when we go fill out our little sheet. I did one. So this sheet I did one set was the most picked numbers, one set was the least picked numbers, and one set of numbers was a mix and match of randomly whatever I selected of both the sets of numbers and the most picked Megaplier number. Okay, so there we go. I mean, I do see on my screen that I've got my Megalist CSV, my NumList CSV. So these files, I can type them out, and there they are. They're set. I can load those into, like I said, Google Sheets or something. They're common quote delimited, so it should easily go into any spreadsheet that I want in order to do any other manipulation, try and find out some other information. But you can see here, this is the Megaplier number. There's one here that's 19, and there's one here that's 51. So, and here's one that's 57. So, I mean, over time, you would think that, you know, infinitely, that all of these numbers would all be picked the same over a long period of time. But apparently not. And can we use that to our advantage? I don't know, but that is the code. The code will, of course, be up in my Bitbucket. That'll be in the description below. But I've got my little lottery sheets here. I'll be ready. You know, I may. So if I win, I'll give up my job and I'll just do YouTube. How's that? That'll be fun. No, I still need my regular job. I need stuff to do. I can't just sit around. Which is why I have a regular job, a side job, 2 YouTube channels, and have land that I have to work. It's a very busy. Keeps me out of trouble. That's what Mrs. Tech Show says. I need something to keep me out of trouble. All right, what do you think? Am I onto something here? Is this the way to do it? This will be up there. You can play numbers and see. Maybe you want to do the numbers in the middle that, you know, that are just on the average, that seem to be average. You can do that, you know, load it into Google Sheets and see what you get, right? And you can also adjust this a little bit to do the other lottery games and prizes that they're doing and stuff out there. So, you know, have fun with it. Like I said, the code will be up in my Bitbucket and free to use. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm well over almost close to 2,100 subscribers. Thanks everybody for subscribing. Anything that, and since you've made it to the end, anything you want to do, talking anything political, I've gotten rid of this channel so that nobody has to hear that, I guess. But if you really want to dig into that, there's Tom's Talk Show. And then we can get into that, and you can tell me where I'm wrong and everything else. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Take care.